Fair enough. I used to work at some years ago now. Obviously, I worked at a cell phone store, and we'd have people come in and be like, "Yeah, my phone's not working. I don't know why."
Sure.
And
I
we'd be
was
like,
answered a call in the shower and suddenly like went out.
and we'd be like,
Hello?
we'd like open it up and be like, "Did it get wet?" And they're like, "No." And it's like, really? Because this water sensor, this water sensor, this water sensor, and this water sensor are all bright red. And they're like, "Oh yeah, my sister dropped it in the toilet." And it's like, okay, well, I can't help you.
Wait, you worked in phone stuff?
Yeah, I worked at Rogers.
I worked at TELUS.
No way.
We're
Oh.
enemies.
Oh well.
Fight.
Luckily we don't work there. No. Now they are our common enemy.
They're our correct, yes.
Yeah. I
So
wonder if
I
wonder if I have a copy of it. At one point, I was photographed for the cover of their employee internal magazine.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know where that would be.
I have so many work stories of that job that I can't tell on Desert Bus, but they're there. Anyway.
I once spilled a bottle of Coke on a Logitech MX Master 3 and discovered that like this model of mouse can hold a surprising amount of liquid inside of it. It's like a sponge. If you spill stuff on it, like it doesn't bounce off. It goes right into the middle.
Huh.
And that's why I now have a 3S.
Oh. Surprising amount of liquid. Employee intern. I don't know what the magazine was. It was like the newsletter or something. But they always had photos of folks, and they said they're like, we want to get one employee from each of the stores in Victoria. And look, I'm just going to be real about this. I distinctly recall the other two, because these were just the corporate stores. The other two stores were like, we're going to make sure that we're going to pick the most attractive employee that we have.
We're going to hire specifically based off of looks.
Yeah, and not hire based on looks, but like the employee that they were going to send to this photo shoot.
Yeah.
The two managers at the other stores were like, I'm going to pick my most attractive employee. And our store was all like schlubby men, all of whom outranked me and went, you do it.
Wow.
Because they just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, flattering? Question mark?
I guess. Then they
I
had us
like the
go
idea,
down near the
though, of
water
them-
and like get up on a ladder, and they were like, now look up at me. And so I'm like, because it was so bright out.
I like the idea of them putting out like a now hiring sign, and they pepper it around like a bunch of modeling agencies, and it's like, yeah, no, we just need you for a weekend. Like it's like, are you sure this person works at the Rogers store? It's like, yeah, they're an actor.
yeah,
like of course they work at a Rogers store.
Yeah, we just want to look, just really want to look good on the cover of the corporate newsletter.
Oh boy. I'm literally trying to think of a story from work that is bus friendly. I'm really struggling.
We had a
It's
TV.
bad. Retail's
a-
bad.
It is.
We had a TV in our store, and it had like cable, which was great because in January and February, this was a store in the mall. Literally no one, like it got really, really busy in October and especially November and December.
Yeah.
And then in January and February, we had entire days where nobody came in. And so we would just watch Mythbusters.
There you
We
go.
just put the TV on Discovery Channel and just stand there watching Mythbusters and how it's made and be like, getting paid. I'm not getting any commission today, but I'm getting paid to watch Mythbusters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't do a whole lot of like retail. I did a lot of food service.
I worked at Sears in shoes. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese.
Whoa.
And I was a kindergarten teacher.
Whoa.
Huh.
Did you get to meet Charles Entertainment Cheese?
I was Charles Entertainment Cheese.
No way.
The best story from work was I went to get dressed up as Charles E. Cheese. And when I walked out, because we had two costumes, there was already another woman who just wanted to be Charles that day. So I walked out and I was the second Chucky, which is like a red alert scenario because now everyone knows that Charles M. Cheese is not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I felt that one for a while.
So the thing about food service is
That's
that
amazing.
if you work enough food service, then you watch like Kitchen Nightmares. No matter
Right.
how much you hated food service, you're going to be sitting there watching Kitchen Nightmares, and you're going to be watching everything fall apart, and Gordon's yelling at everyone, and it's going to cross your mind. You're just going to be like, I could handle that. I would have kept up. I would have kept up.
Yeah.
Someone in chat said, "What about your photo lab stories?" Again, I don't think I'm allowed to tell those. They would encourage people to do things that are not. They violate health and safety. One time, look, I'm going to preface this story with, "Don't do what I did." But there was
Just say it's not a real knife, and you'll get away with it.
it's not a real story. I decided when I was in my youth, I was in my 20s, I was young, and I was very vocally activist like. Definitely not now. Definitely not who I am now. And there was this thing that you could do where you are supposed to walk a day in the life of a specific set of people, and it was, you don't wear shoes. And you're supposed to carry a sign around to sort of like get the word out. But I worked in a photo lab, which has a lot of chemicals, as everyone here knows. And you're not supposed to not wear shoes at work, okay? Let alone in a photo lab.
Yeah.
So I did do this, and I took a photo of it. And my boss was like, "You can't." Like, he was so disappointed in me, but it's not the worst that I've done. So he was like, "I appreciate that you've dialed it back. But
Like TQ, you can't. Come on.
you can't do that."
You can't.
There's so many of these things that I can't. There's more stories. I can't tell you them. I can't in my right mind. Like,
If you say
I
you can't
will-
tell one again, you do have to tell one. 'Cause
One
I'm
time
saying
I
that
made
4 times.
one time I made a robot suit out of cardboard and then walked downstairs out of the photo lab into the retail space and just walked around until somebody stopped me. It took 25 minutes.
No, that one rules. That one
also
kicks
made
ass.
I also made a cardboard robot suit in the back room at Rogers.
I don't want to be here.
Then we used it in a sketch.
Yeah, no, the cardboard robot suit, that kicks ass. Wearing no shoes around bromine.
Yeah, I wasn't the wisest, and it wouldn't if it
No
was a
for me.
digital. If it was a digital photo lab, it's like, okay, that's not so
That's
bad.
like
No,
whatever.
this was a big old chemical machine where I'm pulling out trays and changing over those.
Oh,
There was a wash station and everything, fam. I was so dumb.
and for that reason, I'm out. Oh boy.
It's pitchy.